So spoilers for The Walking Dead in case for some reason you haven't seen it yet. But do you remember that one episode where Glenn was on top of a dumpster and then he fell with another guy into a herd of walkers and it looked like he died? We're all so sad. But then a few episodes later we find out, no wait, he's actually alive and he crawled up under the dumpster and somehow survived all of that nonsense? Yeah, you remember how well received that was? Well, just imagine for a second, there's a whole show full of moments like that where you think somebody's about to die or did die, and then find out, nope, actually, they're okay. Wouldn't that just be so much fun? What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Fear the Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 7, Still Standing. So ultimately, this one wasn't bad, but I feel like it could have been better if the setup for it had been stronger. But unfortunately, a lot of the setup from the past few episodes and some of the setup during this one, it just really takes a lot of my interest out of it. I think the best example of this is Alicia's story, because looking at it, I mean, this should be an emotional moment. Should be an emotional story. She's going to help these kids, and then they get trapped by all these walkers, and then of course there's the one that's got the radiation, so she can't get blood on herself from it, but then she does. And so basically this means she's about to get radiation poisoning and die. That should be kind of a holy shit type of moment. Because, I mean, Alicia's a big character in this show. And the fact that she's going to die, I don't know when, should be a big deal. I will say I'm kind of on the fence about the whole radiation poisoning thing, because on the one hand, it is unique. It's not a walker bite, so people aren't going to be able to look at you and just know that you're going to die. She knows, because she knows she has the radiation poisoning now. But it is something kind of different in this world to slowly die because of this radiation. But at the same time, there is also something kind of weird about the fact that, okay, so she's going to die. So we're sitting here with this knowledge that she will die soon. We just have to wait. Don't know how long. Because with the walker bite, we know it's at least like a couple of days, maybe. I don't know how long the radiation's going to take to get to her. But anyways, this should be a big deal, though. We're about to lose one of the characters that's been here since the beginning. The last character, I think, that has been here since the beginning of the show. And I don't really feel it. I don't feel invested in it. And a lot of it is down to the story with these kids. They've not done a good job of making their story sympathetic enough. Like, okay, they don't really trust anybody, but at the same time, what have they done to not earn your trust? Like, a lot of what Morgan and the group have done should have earned the kids' trust by now. In fact, Dylan and Max are trying to tell her maybe we should trust her, and yet she still won't. And it's weird to me that, first of all, she is still so untrusting. But also, why are all these kids not stepping up? Why are none of the kids stepping up and going, hey, Annie, maybe you're wrong about this one? It's very weird because she doesn't trust them. All these kids are like, okay, well, I guess we can't trust them because Annie says so. Like, I know kids do tend to follow a leader in some ways, but I do think this is more unreasonable than kids would be in real life, and it's taking me out of these scenes, if I'm being honest. So because that's the setup, that's why Alicia is about to die, is because she went to go rescue these kids who put themselves in this situation because one girl wasn't willing to look at everything Morgan and the group have done and say, you know what, we should trust them because they're doing everything they can to try to save us. Even with Alicia giving Annie one more chance, she still doesn't take it. Like, if this were just an initial reaction to the plane malfunctioning and then they find out they're talking to the one lady and it's just like, oh crap, we can't trust them, and they run back to their little hideout. If that were all it was, that's fine. But Alicia goes there, she talks to Annie, she gives her reasoning, she gives her plenty of reasons to trust her and to follow her out of there. Even the fact that the plant is about to have a meltdown. You have these reasons to trust her and to believe her and to get out of there, and she still doesn't. She decides to go out, set up the walkers, and that's what leads to all the walkers swarming the place. And that's what leads to Alicia eventually, now she's about to die. So it's just unfortunate that you have these stories that should be good, should be more interesting, and I'm just not really feeling them because of how they have set them up, because they've not done a good job of making a lot of these stories believable. Thankfully, we do see John tell Dwight the truth about what he did, hiding the letter from him, and I'm glad there wasn't too much of a reaction, but I still do feel like that is a little unrealistic. Like, I know Dwight can look at it and go, you were trying to help me, but at the same time, there would be an initial, what the hell, from Dwight, I feel, which would be deserved because John hid this very important thing from him. Even if he had a good reason, there still would be the initial frustration. That is realistic, and that's why I hate the fact that John did it in the first place. So even though you skip probably the most frustrating part about this whole liar reveal story, you still did the liar reveal story to begin with. So I don't feel like that makes up for it in any way. It just makes it more unrealistic to not have Dwight have a moment of, what the hell are you doing? Why would you do this to me? Everything else is just pretty standard. I will say it is kind of dumb that Morgan goes up and kills the walkers because he found the extra hazmat suit in Grace's old home, and then just instantly takes off the mask, and Strand and Charlie come around the tarp or whatever, which, how did they have time to set that tarp up? Didn't think about that till just now. But the fact that they all just sort of go around to the walkers that Morgan just killed, just because they're dead now doesn't mean the radiation poisoning just suddenly goes away. It's still there, and you're standing over those bodies. You're still going to be infected. I know they're probably not going to, because the show is probably playing very loose and fast with the rules of radiation. Like the idea that, oh no, the blood needs to touch you or get in your system, to me doesn't seem likely. I feel like just being around these bodies that have been contaminated with radiation would have more of an effect on you. But outside of that, though, everything else was perfectly fine. I feel like all these stories are moving along pretty normally. Everybody in their different spots. They did have a conversation between June and Al about Al meeting Isabel, which I did feels a little forced because June tried to relate it to her and John, and I'm thinking, no, this is not the same as you guys. You guys had several months to make a connection. These two were together for a couple of days. Totally different stories. Don't try to make it the same. But I kind of figured we were going to have the generator malfunction and not fix the nuclear plant. So now there's a bit more of a ticking clock to get out of there, which is going to only up the intensity. I don't know if anybody's going to die in this next episode. I feel like maybe one person will at least get infected with radiation or something. Maybe we'll see like later this season the effects of it. Obviously at some point we'll see Alicia start to deal with the symptoms of this radiation. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody would die in the next episode, but I could be wrong. Maybe Grace won't make it. We'll see. But with all that being said, on to the mid-season finale. I'll see you guys there. And now, episode 8, Is Anybody Out There? This one, once again, was just okay. I think the biggest thing that marred this one was similar to a lot of the previous episodes, which is all of the chance things that happen that work out for the better, and things work out okay, even though we don't really see how, or it's super convenient. It just does. I love the fact that the show is so far gone in that respect, that John just seeing Candy in a car is enough for him to go, that's the car. And sure enough, that's the one that works. Why? No reason. It just does, because the show is stupid like that sometimes. But like I said, we have all these moments of happenstance. To start off, we have one that sets up for the intensity of this episode, which is they're leading all these walkers toward the plant so that way the klaxon can go and draw them in. But then, of course, it stops right as they're about to lead them away, so now they're having to run away from the walkers, which is going to draw them to the plane, which means now they have a ticking clock, not just to get on the plane and go, but also to get away from the walkers, which adds a bit more intensity to the scene. But we also have moments of chance that make things work out okay, like John and Dwight just showing up out of nowhere in a car that we didn't even see them find along the way. We also have a couple of walkers show up at the end to cause Wendell some trouble. I don't know why he was left on his own with the generator that set up the lights. It feels like there should have been 2 people guarding that side, but sure, leave him there all alone. So now we have some tension whenever 2 walkers show up. Now he has to try to deal with both of them. It leads to the lights getting turned off, so now there's tension about, is the plane going to crash? But he manages to get there just in time. He thinks he might be sacrificing himself to get there, which he doesn't, so I don't know why that was set up like he was about to sacrifice himself, and he manages to get it just in the nick of time, and the plane lands just in the nick of time, and everything works out okay. Oh, woo, yay. Sure, whatever. Like, I didn't really expect anybody to die in this episode. I will say the fact that we find out apparently Alicia's pipe that she killed the one walker with was not contaminated, which means somehow the blood of that walker was not contaminated. What? How does that make sense? Oh, it was the blood in his head, and the radiation was on his body, so that means the blood in his head isn't the same as the blood in his body, right? That's how walker anatomy works. I know they used to be human, but they're not human anymore, so it's different. So we can say that that works, and it just works, okay? So don't question us on it. I thought, okay, well, at least we know she's going to die, so there is still that kind of bittersweetness to all of this ending, but it almost starts with her finding out that the pipe isn't contaminated, which means she's probably not contaminated. All right, so not only did you not have any moments of loss in this mid-season finale, but also you took away one from the last episode that we thought we had. I don't think you understand how these shows work. Like, I'm not saying everything always has to be down and grim and every episode has to end with somebody dying, but there does have to feel like there are sacrifices being made. This is a difficult world to survive in, and when you have so many things that happen in the show where people should be dying but they're not, and then you also have a mid-season finale that should be intense and one of the most dangerous episodes, and everybody makes it out okay, and one character that should be dying because of radiation poisoning doesn't even have radiation poisoning anymore, you're just basically making it feel like nobody is ever in any danger. And I've had this complaint with this show before, and it's continuing to be an issue. And I know that that sounds weird to wish death and suffering on characters, but in this type of show, you want to feel like something is happening, especially whenever bad decisions are made. You want to feel like those decisions cost something. Annie and her whole group, all the decisions they made in the last episode, I thought that was leading to, well, look at what's going to happen to Alicia now. But no, she seems to be fine. John made the decision to lead Dwight further down this goose chase, even though he had a note from Sherry saying, hey, stop looking for me. He still led Dwight further away from the plane, and yet they still make it back in time, so nothing was lost there. So ultimately, while this mid-season finale was not bad, it definitely didn't really grip me like it should be. A lot of these tense moments felt forced, they felt fake to me. I didn't really feel like anybody was in danger throughout most of this episode. I will say they did do the plane scenes and the landing scenes, the takeoff scenes, all of that. They did do it well. Like, I did feel kind of I would hate to be in that situation, because they made it look really realistic. So I'll give them credit for that. The filming in this one was good, and the acting is good as well. But as far as the storytelling, as far as the setup for these scenarios and the tension that they're trying to bring in these episodes, I feel like they're just missing the mark for me, and it's not really hitting like it should be, with all these characters and all these scenarios where they should feel like they're in danger, and I don't feel it. As far as Logan and his group, I don't really know. Clearly, his story is being built up for the second half of the season, so I'm assuming we're going to find out a bit more about this convoy of his and why he's kind of falling out with them, why they don't really seem... Even though he seems like he's the leader, seems like they have a bit more power over him than he's letting on. Or maybe he's just lying about it, and this is part of his ploy to get them to lead him and the group to this gasoline. I don't really understand why that's important. It feels like that should be something that would help everybody, so why are they treating it as if it's a bad thing if this group finds it? I guess maybe if they control it, they would have all the power, and that's a bad thing. I don't know. There's still a lot that doesn't really get explained by what he said at the end of this episode. So I hope they do have better explanations maybe in the next one to kind of build up for the second half of the season. But it is interesting to see all these different characters coming together. Alicia seeing Daniel again after all this time. Everybody getting to meet Dwight as well. There are a lot of moments that did feel pretty nice. And even just that one little moment between Daniel and Alicia, it was a very nice moment considering the history that they have together. That being said, we'll see how the second half of the season goes, but those are my thoughts on these two episodes. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on these two? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Fear the Walking Dead reviews. Also check out the channel. We have a lot of other reviews on here, so check those out if you have time. But until next time, hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you all later. Peace out.